Welcome back, guys, to another week of a weekly crypto market recap. And it's been a very interesting week.
Is this now already the ninth or 10th
Yeah,
episode?
it's the ninth, and last week it wasn't really a crypto market recap. It was mainly just a deep dive on Tornado Cash, but definitely check that out, guys. It goes in tandem with everything we're gonna talk about today. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, let's just dive in then.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off, talking about Ben Dow, which is essentially like you could call it an Aave, like a decentralized lending and borrowing platform, but specifically for NFTs. And there is some risk that's associated with it, and like people are realizing that now. Apparently, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, we had a presentation a few weeks back um, about NFTs, or I held one and you were also there, right? But
Mm,
the whole thing I said with regards to trading NFTs is the liquidity.
right.
It's so illiquid that I think it was Kobe who made a comparison of NFTs are just altcoins with pictures. Um,
Exactly. That's spot on.
yeah, which I do agree with, but I would say in terms of liquidity, NFTs are even worse, right? Because you could have,
Right.
let's say, an altcoin with only 100K in liquidity, um, and if
Hmm.
you have, let's say, I don't know, let's say $5,000 worth of that specific coin, then you might get some price impact if you want to sell that coin. But the
Right.
thing is with NFTs, you're not even entirely sure someone wants to buy your specific NFT, right? It
Exactly.
could just be if if let's say um, someone wants to buy a floor NFT of a specific collection. If they, for whatever reason, don't like your specific NFT, they'll just not buy it, and that's just yeah, that's the tricky thing I
Yeah.
think with NFTs. So yeah, especially if you're talking about lending and borrowing on top of NFTs, um, yeah, that gets kind of tricky.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Because even like with NFTs, like let's just say Board A Yacht Club, right? Like, yeah, there's so many variations of it, right? So many people are aware of the collection, but like if some like let's just say you were interested in buying a Board A Yacht Club NFT, right? Like you would prefer buying one that was like gold, for example. I had
Sure.
gold
Yeah.
fur,
Yeah.
for example, because of like what other people like they deem it as more valuable than the other like the
Yeah.
other Bored Ape NFTs. And like and that becomes even more illiquid because like the amount of gold Bored Ape NFTs is even smaller than the overall collection.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty funny to see people like just taking a loan against the NFT and just like thinking that yeah, like it's gonna hold its value, and like I could even be able to use this loan to you know use it for whatever, either invest or you know whatever you want to use the money for, essentially. But like
Yeah.
it's just funny that people think like, oh yeah, it's gonna hold its value even in a downturn like this, and then what results is like you know, essentially like let's just say like the price going down, and then like people saying even right now people are saying like, oh yeah, like it's I think it was like 50% down like overall like the whole collection
Right.
like but like that was in the terms of Ethereum. In terms of US dollars, 70% down, right?
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. And it hasn't even gone to the area of like the liquidation prices where like
yeah.
once it gets to that point, then like
Then
the
it's
lending
kind of a
platform
free fall.
Yeah, yeah, it's a liquidating cascade, and then like it's gonna all these lending platforms, and it's not just one. Like we're just mentioning Ben Dow as just one example. There's multiple, and they're
Yeah,
all in the same situation. So once that gets, well, like once the price gets to those levels, then they're forced to having to sell under the floor price, and then continuously list under the floor price just to hopefully get the liquidity that they need. But who's willing to buy? Not many.
yeah, especially in this market, right? I mean, if you were doing
Exactly.
something in a bull market, then
Yeah.
probably things go right. But if you're launching something like this in a market where basically the majority of people is too scared to buy, then it's
Yep.
just waiting for something to happen like this. And yeah,
Yep.
I think it's not the smartest move to start leveraging NFTs.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, like even here it mentions that because of this risk of a liquidation cascade, like the interest is like a
Yeah, it went
hundred
up to
percent.
100%. Yeah,
Like
bro.
that's insane. Like
Yeah,
your loan will just increase so rapidly that it will
yeah,
get to the point of just like liquidating you even faster.
yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
like
I
ah
remember one time I had a loan on Aave, and for like a day or something, and I had a loan in Dai, right? And for a day or something like that, the interest rate went up to 36%, and I was like, oh fuck,
oh
no, I don't
shit.
want to get liquidated. But it was
Yeah.
just the variable interest rate, and it was,
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on specifically that day, but for some reason it was just super high all of a sudden. Um,
Yeah.
but then it only lasted for like a day, so it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it can last too long, then you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, and like in that scenario, I could imagine like a bunch of people depositing assets and taking a loan, in die, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because like let's just say the interest rate was low or whatever, and that's why the interest rate just started skyrocketing. But in this scenario, like it's the risk of like the lending platform going insolvent because they can't even
yeah,
cash out the NFTs
yeah.
that's being lent on
That's
their platform.
that's the tricky part. So I
Yeah,
wonder in that case um, who is held liable, or if anyone is held liable, right? Is it just
right.
too bad, bad luck, better luck next time, or is the DAO held responsible, or I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the thing is, it's not like these guys like lended out their like the any of these NFTs at the top, right? And
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
max they even was able to borrow was like 50%. So like
right.
in theory, if they were really trying to cash out without really trying to cash out, by doing this, then they really cashed out at 50%. So it was like a 50%
Yeah,
drawdown, and then they really cashed out. So
that's
it
bad.
going down 50% already, and then them getting liquidated. Like, I mean, if whoever did do that process at the top, yeah, they're good because they don't care because it's like, oh yeah, I already cashed and I already knew it was gonna, you know, decrease to this price. But like, I don't know.
I mean, it is essentially sort of similar to shorting, right? But then, I mean,
Right, right.
not entirely. Maybe almost more similar to options, I guess. But um, let's say
Yeah,
you were able to cash out 50%. I mean, if the value goes up, then no big deal.
right.
But if the value goes down below 50% and you're liquidated,
Mm,
then uh, it's not necessarily super bad if you can buy the NFT back for below 50 percent
exactly.
of the original value, right? Because then you still can make money. Like if the value drops to, let's say, 40% of the original value, and you took out the loan for 50% of the value, you could buy back
Mm,
the NFT and still have 10%
yep.
of the original value in profit. So yeah, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily bad.
Yeah. No, that's a great point because like the way I see it is like if you were just to go the route of like trying to sell it at the top, then like people would see that you're listing it, right? They would see, okay, either the floor price is going up, or like there's a bunch of people listing their NFTs right now to sell. But in this scenario, you don't see anything. You don't see anything being
Yeah,
listed, right?
sure.
So yeah, so you could really take advantage and do that exact scenario that you mentioned, and it would make the most sense, to be honest. I mean, it reminds me of like when Time Wonderland was like collapsing, and like like Seifu and I forgot the guy's name.
Daniela
Yeah,
Sesta.
yep. They both
Yeah,
had like they just took a loan against their time, like like a lot of like I forgot the
yeah,
percentage, but they
yeah.
took a lot, and
I know what you mean. They just
yeah, right.
basically they got more money from borrowing against their collateral than if they would have
Hmm.
sold it on the open market,
Exactly.
because then the price impact would have been bigger.
Exactly. And like in that is thinking about that's only because time is it was kind of liquid. But in this scenario, NFTs are even more illiquid. So like the same scenario would happen, even worse, to be honest. So like them going this route, like anybody, trying to cash out, is honestly the ideal route. Like if I had an NFT, I would go and take a loan the same way, and like hope for the best. Either way, it's the best, because like you said, if it goes up, great. If it goes down, great. I could still just be or buy back for a lower price. You
Yeah,
know? Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's pretty crazy. But yeah, we'll see how this progresses, and we'll cover it again if the liquidation cascade happens. But yeah, let's go into the
The whole
China.
China thing.
Yeah, the whole China real estate market is just. I mean, what do you think? It's been crazy. I know we've been hearing like things in the past couple months, but like lately we've been hearing a lot of like a lot
Yeah.
of things happening all at once.
So what I think is kind of the moral of the story here for me is that um, you can't manipulate like numbers forever on a large scale, right? And it sounds kind of abstract, but that is kind of my takeaway. Like you can probably manipulate the truth on a small scale for a
Mm,
longer time, but you can manipulate the truth on a large scale for longer. So I mean by that is that in China, the stock market, for example, is super opaque. So even the Chinese are not really willing to invest in that because
yep.
it's not as clear how companies are doing as like, for example, it is in the US. Like you can see all the data of public companies to base your investments on. Um,
Hmm.
but it might not be that way in China, and people don't have as much confidence in the stock market. So I think 70% of like household wealth is tied up in properties because people
Right.
believed that is a more stable investment. But
Yep.
because everyone yeah, exactly. Because everyone thought that like the prices were going crazy, and um, what ended up happening was just what you see with a lot of things that are way overhyped is this kind of Ponzi scheme emerged, just like you would have in crypto, where um, like property builders were just taking deposits.
Yep.
Um, and already in some cases mortgage payments for properties that hadn't even been built yet. Um, and basically now people are refusing to um, pay the mortgages because they see the whole thing coming down, which
Right.
then results in the project builders or the property builders not being able to actually build the properties. So it's kind of this
Yep.
downward spiral. Um, yeah, I think I don't know, man. Like there could definitely be contagion because obviously China is a super big country.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
And yeah, I just think in general macro doesn't look too good, right? Because
Nope.
also here in Europe, I think it was last week that I saw multiple messages that I think it was in Germany and the UK that like gas prices for household gas was going up like 3 or 4 times the normal rate, and obviously
Yeah.
most people can't pay that. Like that's
Yeah.
insane. If let's say you're going from, um, let's say your normal bill is like 300 euros a month, which is now the same as dollars. So let's say
Yeah.
just $300 a month to, let's say, 3 to 400, right? And then it suddenly goes up to 1200.
Yep.
Um, if you consider that, for example, here in the Netherlands, I think uh, the median income is probably about for like a household, is probably
Mm-hmm.
like somewhere around 30,000, I would say, maybe a bit
Mm-hmm.
more. But then you're already paying more than like a third of your income
Yep.
just on gas alone. And then you also have to uh, take into account that probably for like an apartment in the city on rent, you would pay the same amount. So that's already uh, like two-thirds of your income that you're
Yep.
then spending on rent, and then the other third is taken for income tax. So uh,
Mm.
you can't make ends meet. So the only
Yeah, that's so true.
yeah, so the only thing that I could see happening is they basically either have to fix something with Russia, which I don't really see happening in the short
Mm-hmm.
term, or they're gonna let everyone freeze to death in the winter, except maybe the southern Mediterranean countries. But obviously, that wouldn't go over well, politically speaking.
Right.
Or they
Yeah.
have to um, probably start printing money again, and I think that is the most
Yep.
likely outcome, because
Yep.
then
I agree.
um, you could even say, all right, we're not just like putting on the money printer without any sort of defined purpose. Where you could say, all right, we're just gonna subsidize the people who have an income of below a certain threshold, right? You could say, all right, for households with an income of with a combined income of less than, let's say, I don't know, 60, 70,000 euros, we're gonna give you some kind of stimulus check, and in that way, um, the money would be going towards the people who need it most, sort of
Right.
almost almost like a sort of UBI, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that doesn't really look good for the euro either way, because
Right.
yeah, that is still inflation, and I think I mentioned it earlier today. The euro is now below the dollar, and
Right.
um,
It's crazy, man.
yeah, I mean,
It's crazy.
I think I've already said it in a previous stream somewhere, but I remember the days when it was like €1 was $1.60 or something like that when I
Yep.
was younger. I mean, to be fair, that was probably like the peak. But okay, so yeah, maybe 160 is, yeah, 160 is literally the peak. But even if you're talking about, let's say, 120 or something, uh, I would say for a long period, up until, yeah, for a long period of my life, that has been at least above, let's say, 120, right? And now it's below a dollar, which is pretty insane to me, honestly.
Yeah, dude, and it's only gonna get worse. Like just seeing this, like Goldman Sachs talking about the prices of homes in China is already 30% lower
Yeah,
because people are not trying to buy homes anymore because of what we were just talking about with like the homes are not even fully built yet, and like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just a bunch of
exactly. I mean,
speculation going on. It's honestly really crazy, and like Like seeing right here how like the U.S. supposedly invested, like they increased their investment in China like even more in the last decade. It just shows that like once things hit the fan, like the U.S. is gonna go down alongside it, and like if China has to start printing, the U.S. is gonna have to start printing as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I think it will just become an issue of basically who prints the most.
yep,
I think
yep,
obviously because then who prints the most has the weakest currency. So the US could print like a fuck ton, but
yep.
if other countries print more, the dollar is still going to be better than those other currencies, which sounds
Yeah,
a bit ridiculous, but that's
yeah.
still the way it is. So yeah, I don't really see any kind
See,
of good outcome for at least kind of the short to medium term, because
yeah.
just to get back for a second to the houses you were mentioning, like I don't know if you've seen those videos, but there are videos of like um basically ghost cities in China
Oh
that were built
yeah,
for the sole purpose of just being investments. And it's crazy because you see this huge
yeah.
city just being completely empty but full of apartment blocks where nobody lives. But then the
Wow.
the thing gets even crazier because then people have gone up to these apartment blocks like up close, and in a lot of cases it's just made out of the cheapest material that shouldn't even be building material, right? Like
Damn.
styrofoam. You even have videos where like almost like it was made out of carton, or in some cases even like corn, uh,
Yep.
which is super weird. But
That's
that's
crazy.
again that's again kind of what I mean by you can't really manipulate the truth for a super long period on a bigger scale, right? Because
Yeah.
eventually details like that might not be super noticeable in the short term will come out, and when people realize, wait, I paid for an apartment but it's actually made out of cardboard and no one is gonna buy this, then obviously they're gonna be mad. So yeah, I don't know. It's not looking
Shit,
too
dude.
good, I think.
You know what that reminds me of? 2008. Like there was
Yeah,
homes
definitely.
everywhere in the U.S. Like it's wow, dude. That's
Yeah,
history repeats itself. That's crazy, man. Oh my
yeah.
god.
You've probably seen the Big Short, right?
Oh
I would
yeah,
guess.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my
the
god,
fact that they were just giving out loans like mortgages to people who didn't even have a job, just as long as you were saying like, yeah, I'm looking for a job, then they could
bro.
already get a mortgage. Which, I
Yep.
mean, I get that like people need houses and everyone wants to own a home. That's understandable. But if you don't even have a job, then not even just a low income job, not any job at all, then why would you give someone like that a mortgage?
Bro, you remember in the movie how it said like, oh yeah, one of the people they put their dog's name in the application and they got the mortgage under the dog's name. Like, what the fuck? That's how crazy it was. And
Yeah,
like, this really reminds me of that. And like, dude, yeah, no, this is not looking good at all. Like at all.
yeah,
Wow, that's insane. Because you're right. Like, as soon as more and more just realize, oh yeah, people are not gonna be willing to pay what I spent on, developing this home, then it's a loss, and
yeah,
then is the whole market is at a loss, and then it's just gonna collapse, and it's gonna take a
yeah.
lot of countries with it. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna be worth just
And
watching.
also thinking about kind of the real estate market on the longer term. And of course, it really depends per region. And this is my non-real estate informed opinion, but um, like the predictions are already that the world population is peaking or even declining in pretty much every area except for Africa right now, right? So
Yeah,
if I mean, there are still people coming into Europe, for example, but that's mainly refugees who make up for a lot of births. So if it was if there was no refugee crisis, Europe would already be shrinking quite substantially, I think.
Yeah.
And the same goes for I don't know exactly how it is in the US, but I know that pretty much the rest of the world is shrinking, and Japan, for example, is a pretty good example of that. Um, but if you really think about that on a bigger scale, like if there are less people in 30 years, let's say 30 years, than there are now, but the same amount of houses um,
Yup.
are going to
Yup.
be
Yup.
available, right? Then the most simple conclusion that you can draw from that is that the house prices have to come down, right? And again, this
That's
is
the
just
perfect way to think about it, honestly.
yeah, I mean, this is just a super simplified version, and I can definitely imagine some like high end places prices might keep going up, but at some point, if there's just gonna be less buyers, because there's just less people, simple as that, then at some
Hmm.
point prices will have to come down, you know? So
Yeah, that makes the
yeah, I
most
don't
sense,
know.
to be honest. Like, just looking at the past 2 years, let's just say, in the U.S. real estate market, I was watching houses in California, 1 million plus, and then people moving from California to like Texas, Las
Yeah,
Vegas, and all that, because the prices for homes were super cheap, like 200,000, and then now, now they're the exact same price because people just moved over
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like, oh yeah, this is quote unquote cheaper, and then they're willing to
yeah,
raise the bid essentially, and then look now
yeah.
now
You
house of prices
essentially,
is insane.
yeah, you essentially get a sort of. I mean, arbitrage is not exactly the right word, but everything will be more. Um, yeah, what is the right word? I guess for lack of a better word, call it arbitrage, because like the prices will come down in those super high areas if everyone
Yep.
leaves, but then the price the prices of the houses of the places where they leave to will probably rise. But
Hmm.
so I think the example you gave is a super good example, right? I remember a few months back I was walking in a city here where there was this super nice house for like 1.5 million, and it was like a super nice house. But I was thinking to myself like, yeah, I would never buy a house of 1.5 million here, because if I would
Yep.
just go to some other country, could probably, I mean, if I would go to, let's say, Portugal, for example, right, you could probably buy five houses, maybe even more, for that amount of money, that are all all pretty nice. Maybe not as nice as one house of let's say 1.5 million here, but
Hmm.
even if you wanted to spend 1.5 million on just one house there, you could get a better house just because it is cheaper there. And it's like, yeah, if you have that amount of money, I think it's easier to just say, all right, where do I really want to live? Where are the tax laws good? Where is life cheaper? Like the cost of living, where is it cheaper? Um, and if you can get roughly all the same things you need in that other country, uh, then I do think it becomes really attractive for, especially um, like the wealthy people, to just say, all right, yeah, I can just take whatever I do to that country, as long as you're doing something online, right? Like thing we do, we could just pretty easily move because we're not
Yep.
really tied down to one place. Um,
Yep. And I think
so
that's the biggest contributor to all this as well. Like I was
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
people
definitely,
like moving to like Mexico, like a bunch
yeah,
of like U.S. residents moving to Mexico because it makes sense. Like how you're saying, like
yeah,
the cost of living is way lower, and like they might as well just live over there, right? And then just
Yeah.
work, remote. And like I see that also bringing down prices because like before remote jobs and all that, like you going to New York, California, Boston, all these like big city areas is it was just for the job. And if
Yep.
the job is all remote, then it's like you could be anywhere.
Yeah.
So like no, you're right, man. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see in the next decade how the housing prices come down, and that's why I haven't even like planned on like getting any house. Like I want a house, but not here, like not anytime soon
Right.
because of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
reason. Like I could go to Dominican Republic, like instead of me spending like $1 million here on like a 1-2 bedroom, like and it's very small,
Yeah.
right?
Shit. That's
You know what
insane.
I'm saying? Yeah, like it's like 500 to a million. It's like really,
Yeah.
really crazy. I can go to Dominican Republic and for 200,000, I get a whole mansion, like a literal
Yeah.
mansion.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a story about a guy who bought. I think he bought like three houses in Portugal for 20K each,
Mm-hmm.
which is obviously insane. And like, granted, the houses are probably not in the best condition, I would assume, and probably fairly
Oh yeah,
small.
yeah,
But I mean, here for 20K, you could get a parking spot. Like,
yeah.
unironically,
That's
like in
so
the bigger
true.
cities, I've seen parking spots go for as much as 20K.
Yeah, dude. That's like I'm telling you, that's like it's. I feel like it's like a lot that's gonna contribute to like the overall global real estate market collapse because like it's
Yeah.
yeah it's gonna be very interesting to see in the next couple years. So like hopefully we can like buy the bottom. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good if we could just get like a good crypto bull run right
Right.
before the whole real estate collapse happens, and then we
Yeah.
can just, hopefully we're smart enough to cash out before the crypto crash and then buy the bottom of the real estate crash.
Yeah, 100%. And like you know how like the housing market is. It's not like volatile. It's like slowly declining. So we'll literally be like it could start declining now and for the next year, like couple years, and we're just watching it, the line slowly
Yeah,
just going down, and hopefully, yeah, like there is a bull run, and we could hopefully like, cash out the top and just rebuy at the bottom, because honestly, that would be like the best play, because then like if you actually buy out the home, you could just take a loan against the house and then rebuy the crypto market bottom.
yeah.
And just, you know what I'm saying? It's like back and forth, and it's like, oh, you good, and you good from that point on. To be honest, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, personally, I would probably not kind of gamble with my house if I ever bought a home.
Shit.
But I do see where you're coming from. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
yeah,
You're not gonna take a loan of like 90% of your house just to go into Dogecoin.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, I would
Shit.
probably, for the foreseeable future, I would just keep renting, even if I could
Oh
pay
yeah.
for a home, because I think, I mean, again, I'm not really that into real estate, so this is just my best guess, you could say. But I do think you're probably gonna get higher returns in crypto than you would get um, in real estate. So it
Yeah.
would make more sense probably to just um, yeah, rent, and then whatever you save, you could invest, and then not have to yeah, get kind of pay kind of the opportunity cost of having a big deposit on a house that you could also
Right.
invest in something like crypto or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. And like, yeah, no, 100%. We talked about this multiple times. It's like all these markets all at the same time, slowly like just collapsing. It's very interesting to see where the opportunities lie, and like a lot of
Yeah,
people are gonna realize that the crypto market has the highest potential for return on investment. So like I definitely see like crypto like seeing a bull run a lot sooner than a lot of these other markets. But I don't know. It's definitely gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see just what happens.
yeah. I
Honestly.
mean, The thing is, if macro just completely goes to shit,
Yeah.
I don't see crypto
Oh no,
having its
definitely
own
not.
bull market because the thing I'm just asking is like where would the money come from? And
Yep.
you could also say you could also look at it from the other point of view of like, yeah, as long as there's less selling than buying, then prices go up, right? And of course that is true. um, but I think in a sense the pressure on the sell side is still stronger because if, again, just looking at the situation, for example, here in Europe, right? If people are, I mean, not maybe, let's not even talk about food, right? But if they're just freezing to death, for example, because they can't pay for gas to keep
Right.
themselves warm, then I do think people are not going to be so rational as to think, yeah, but what if Dogecoin goes up in another 4 years? They'll just think, yeah, fuck these worthless dog money tokens, and we'll
Yeah.
just sell for whatever price we get so we can afford like one more week of warmth and not freeze to death.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. It reminds me of like I remember getting this question or just seeing this question somewhere and someone answered it, but like it was saying like, what do you think is more valuable, a laptop or a house?
Yeah, exactly. It's of
You know.
course it's gonna be the house.
See, that's what a lot of people were saying too. But the guy was arguing is like, yeah, but what can you do with the house? You can rent
Yeah,
it, you
okay, yeah,
can
but
live in it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? You know where I'm getting at, right? And that,
yeah, I do see where you're getting at, but I do think that really depends on the situation. I think because you're getting probably at the point of like a laptop can be used as a productive asset essentially, or at least you could be productive with a laptop, um, because you could get a job online or start your own business online, which you obviously couldn't with a house. But uh, I do think in times of crisis people might not just be able to think that rationally, and I do
no,
think
yeah,
um,
not
if
it's not a thought process for like like for market conditions as of right now. I'm saying
yeah, yeah,
like if like things stabilize and then people are looking to get risk on once again, that's what they're gonna think about. It's
oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
and like the way they're gonna have to think about it too, like going with like what we were mentioning before, how like crypto market would be like the best return on investment. There would have to be like a catalyst within the market, the crypto market, where it would show them, oh, okay, yeah, it definitely will be a bigger return on investment because I'm able to do these list of things rather than just me having a place to live or a place where I can like rent it out and then hopefully earn this income. Like it's that's what I mean. And like yeah, hopefully it does stabilize and we like more people
yeah.
can see
I
certain things
mean,
like that.
yeah, I am somewhat conflicted because, but not that much to be honest. Like, okay, on the one hand, yeah, you could say I want to see everything go down more so I can buy more cheaply, but that's basically the only reason I would want that, right? Because
Yeah.
if everything goes down, and especially if tech goes down more, you still want to have a job to be able to have
Yep.
income to buy, right? That's the first obvious thing. But if we're
Yep.
looking at specifically China more, there's already quite some tensions between China and Taiwan right now. And
Mm-hmm.
usually in like um, in hard times, basically, that's the best way I can put it. Then anyone and on a more bigger scale, on a more somewhat more abstract scale, also states will do um, kind of more drastic things, you know. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think there's a higher likelihood of any kind of conflict escalating between China and Taiwan
I
if
agree.
China gets significantly worse economically speaking, and I
Very
think
true.
that is probably good for no one. So
Yeah. I
while
mean,
and yeah,
yeah.
well, I think well, I do hope they get better somehow, financially speaking. I also think that
I
is
don't see
highly,
it.
yeah, that's highly unlikely,
Yeah.
given everything we've just talked about.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's gonna be definitely some time before we start seeing any of these markets stabilizing. And
Yeah,
like you made a great point. Like if it continues down like how it's going, they're going to have to like invade Taiwan, and it makes the most sense financially for them because I remember this meme where it was like it was mainly going after like the U.S., but like it was saying like the residents living paycheck to paycheck, and then um, see now I forgot the second part, which was like the states living like they were living like paycheck to paycheck, but then it was like the U.S. living paycheck to paycheck, but in regards to wars, like wars to wars. It was the same thing. It was like you know what I'm saying. Like it was that meme of the
yeah,
guy with the sniper, and it was like looking down. It was just it would be better if we could show it, but but yeah, like it's definitely gonna get worse. And if they do invade, I feel like that's it's definitely gonna make the whole global environment a lot less risk on, and they're just gonna be like hoarding cash or hoarding whatever they do deem as valuable. So yeah,
yeah,
that's
and also I think specifically for tech, um,
right.
Taiwan makes a lot of microprocessors and chips, as far as I
Yep,
know.
yep,
So
yep.
yeah,
So
that's
that's
definitely
not good.
yeah, that's yeah, that's definitely not good. Yeah, that's the easiest way to say it.
It's
Um,
definitely not good at all.
yeah,
like, like if Nancy Pelosi had to go all the way over there just to like, clear things up, it's not looking good. That's how it shows that the U.S. is extremely desperate.
yeah,
And they can't have Taiwan getting invaded like that. So I mean, let's see. All we can do is just wait and see. But yeah,
yeah,
let's go into Lido and their dominance essentially in the like with the amount of validators they have set up essentially and how much control they have over these validators. And right now it's at like what it's saying it says at least the problem already it already says like just two validator operators are controlling 38% of the staked ETH, and that's one of them is Lido, and that's already like a bit too much because like
I mean,
what
it is good that they have committed to not censoring.
yeah, but like that's you know
But
right
yeah,
now
I
and
do agree that it is bad that they're
yeah,
controlling that large of a stake, because then if they just flip the bias for some reason, whatever, then yeah, obviously that's not good.
yeah, I mean I think the other operator like the unknown right here, the blue part is like solar stakers, so I mean it's
Yeah,
fine, but
yeah, there could be, yeah,
like but yeah, that's quite a bit for Lido. And like yeah, even though they said that they're not gonna censor, that's great. But like what's really stopping the government in the future to just really like trying to make them like censor? It's like, oh, if you don't censor, then we're gonna shut you down in some way, like how they did with Tornado Cash.
yeah,
And that is not good, but I mean, who knows? Like it could get better, but like it just goes in tandem with like Tornado Cash and like them talking about already like the largest Ethereum miner is blocking transactions associated with anybody that interacted with Tornado Cash. So like I mean, if the large one of the like if the largest miner is going and censoring transactions, what's gonna stop once the ETH merge and it's fully proof of stake, what's gonna stop anybody that holds a large majority from censoring.
Yeah, I saw this take that was pretty good by DC Investor. I think you
Mm,
can pull it up. I don't have the address for you right now, but maybe you can just search for DC Investor.
let me see. DC. This
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. So he was basically talking about incentives. And it was basically, let's see. Yeah, yeah, the one here.
This
The
this
one about I studied a lot of political game theory. Yeah, yeah. I really agree with that one because um, it's basically like if you say, yeah, we're gonna slash you your
Yep.
stake if you censor transactions, but no one ever actually does any slashing,
Yep.
then it's kind of unbelievable for validators. So they might still be like, especially after a period of time, right? They might be like, yeah, no one's gonna do shit, so we're
Yep.
still gonna censor whatever kind of transactions. But if there's a precedent of like, yeah, we're not afraid to slash anyone who's gonna censor,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they actually slashed, especially if it's a big validator, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they slashed that party, then other institutions or other large validators are probably not so keen on just censoring because obviously they don't want to lose their stake.
Yeah. And I think I remember that conversation starting because of Coinbase gonna is gonna show the ability for users to like stake Ethereum, and then they're gonna hold a bunch of Ethereum staked on validators, and they're gonna be able to like censor if they liked. And then people were saying like, yeah, if you do, try to censor, then we're just gonna slash you. And
Yeah,
I mean, Coinbase may not want to do it because of that, which is great, and it's gonna deter everybody else from doing so. But like the moment that there's an incentive to like to pretty much censor, like if the government's like incentivizing people to censor, even if they get slashed, like I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting to see like what people are gonna do. But I mean, this is not if they're going after Ethereum in this way, like it's just because Ethereum is the biggest blockchain that's being interacted with to
yeah,
date. So I mean, once the ecosystem grows more and more, like maybe they can't go after Ethereum validators because of this social slashing. Okay, but they could definitely go after some other blockchains, and it's just going to be censoring those blockchains, whatever blockchains that they're going to be able to censor. And then I don't know, part of the ecosystem is just going to be censored, and it's going to be like it's literally just going to be like the internet, where like it depends on how you interact with the internet, and like there's going to be some parts are censored and some parts are not censored. It's going to be
yeah.
pretty
I
long.
mean, I do really see that happening,
Yeah.
but I do think, like I said, if a big party is slashed, no other big party wants to lose their funds, right? So I really think then they will either just unstake because if they really want to comply with the law, and they don't want to go against the OFAC, then that could be
Right.
a possibility, or they could just try to convince the U.S. government why they're misinformed,
Right.
and why validating blocks with Tornado Cash transactions in them is not actually illegal. So that could also happen, but yeah, I do think if there is one big slashing event, then that really deters other people from doing the same thing that led to the slashing, because
Yeah. No, that's true.
then
And
then
like,
there's already proof
yeah.
that Ethereum is willing to slash.
Right. And then like other blockchains are gonna see social slashing actually works and like prevents people from trying to censor. So yeah, they might just adopt the same method. I just hope that like it just I don't know. I just hope that there isn't like remember we were talking about like the the U.S. Ethereum network. I just hope there isn't some sort of like U.S. blockchain that's like anybody that's in the U.S. they're only restricted like they're restricted to only being able to utilize that
Yeah, yeah,
specific blockchain. This I don't know. This is definitely an interesting conversation. I don't really know where it could lead to, but like hopefully it doesn't get too bad. But like this social slashing is definitely a good thing that they're mentioning because a lot of people I can see was like really worried about the idea of like validators once proof of stake is like fully here with the merge is like they were really worried that they would be censoring a lot of transactions. So
yeah.
yeah, man, all these things happening right now is just like a wait and see type of scenario. We're just literally just sitting on the edge of our seats, just waiting to see what happens. We literally can't do anything. That really sucks.
Yeah, I don't really have any more to add to that. I mean, yeah, I am somewhat excited for the merge next month, but
Yeah, yeah.
if that means that, like you said, if it does result in a kind of USA blockchain and not just a free and open Ethereum, then obviously I'm not for that.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. That's yeah. Let's not go into like if it's that scenario. We'll leave that for next time,
Yeah,
or if it does happen. But yeah, you want to end it off right here?
yeah.